السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على محمد الأمين، إمام المرسلين، خاتم النبيين، وسيد ولد آدم أجمعين، وعلى أهله وصحبه أجمعين والتابعين إلى يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. وقال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: لا يدخل الجنة من كان في قلبه مثقال ذرة من كبر، أو كما قال رسول الله. ونسأل الله أن يجعلنا من الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Alhamdulillah, we thank and we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Lord of mankind, the one who makes all things possible and the one who can do the impossible. We pray for peace and salutations upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and upon his family, his companions, and those who follow him upon the righteous path until the day of Deen. Ameen. Alhamdulillah, today we are here to discuss a very important topic. And inshallah, this will be along a line or a list of topics, inshallah, we have planned, where we address certain behaviors or certain attitudes or certain aspects of our community that influences, that makes stagnant our growth and development, and especially that prevents the development and the growth of the Muslim youth. We have heard, the Muslim youth this, the Muslim youth that, they're not praying, they're not reading Quran. But inshallah, now we will begin to look deep into our community and some of our behaviors that is enabling or that is allowing these things to continue to go on. But not only will we look at the problems, we will also address solutions as well, to see what can we do to find the cure, to find the answer through the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the wisdom of his prophet, and of course the world around us that Allah has given us for us to seek knowledge from as well. And today, the quality, the characteristic we will be addressing today is arrogance. We have all heard about arrogance. But how does arrogance affect the Muslim youth? Is the question today. Before we can address something, inshallah, it is very important for those of us who are students, we always know we must begin with definitions. We must begin with a deep understanding of the topic itself before we begin to expand. So arrogance, otherwise known in Arabic as kibr, most popularly the word used for it will be kibr or istiqbal. And subhanallah, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his prophet uses the word, the meaning changes depending on the context. But for the most part, the main thing we can grab from all situations is two things: rejecting the truth and despising people. These are the two main things that you find in arrogance. Having an inflated ego, pride which does not benefit. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran in Surah Al-Furqan a very popular verse: وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. That the slaves, the servants of Allah, are those who walk upon this earth gently, or walk upon this earth humbly. And when they are addressed or confronted by those who are ignorant, they respond with words of peace. Something we can analyze from this ayah is Allah uses the word servant. In order to be humble, you need to acknowledge you are a slave of Allah. And this is something I really want us to understand today. Because the traditional image of what a slave is a person wearing rags with chains on their hands and feet. And some of us walking around with these iPhones and a watch on your wrist, and you have AirPods on, and you drive, and you make this much money per month. Your image of yourself is far away from a slave. And this begins to foster the environment for some type of arrogance to happen. Arrogance is indeed a disease of the heart. And just like many diseases of the body, a lot of people don't know they have them. As I speak about arrogance right now, we begin to think of someone else. And this happens a lot. We go to a lecture, the person giving the lecture, well, these people, they need to stop lying and be honest to one another. We nod our heads, I know this brother, I know this sister, my uncle, my this. You immediately think of somebody else who should be listening to this. Already that is arrogance. Just apply it to yourself. If Allah wanted them to hear the message, they would be here to listen to it. No, Allah placed you here for a reason, to hear the message. So it is so easy for us to become arrogant. Arrogance is not only, I think I'm better than you. Sometimes we show this behavior, but in very small ways. And it is very, very necessary as Muslims we eliminate this from our hearts. In Surah Al-A'raf, Allah talks about those who reject the truth, that these people are arrogant, and there is no other place they will go to but the hellfire. وَالَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا وَاسْتَكْبَرُوا عَنْهَا أُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. Rejecting the truth. MashaAllah, brother, alhamdulillah, may Allah bless you, but this thing that you're doing, XYZ, it's not, I don't think you should be doing that. Already the heart. How dare you? How dare you criticize me? And we all like to see ourselves we put ourselves on a pedestal. Almost each and every one of us look in the mirror before we leave the house and say, that's a very handsome man I'm looking at. That's a very beautiful person I'm looking at. Wow, mashallah, look at you. We praise ourselves. How many times we wear clothes and you have to spend a few minutes, making sure, alhamdulillah, we praise ourselves. And it's important to do that. You must have self-confidence. Especially in today's world, to thrive, you need to be confident. But confidence to a point where you see yourself to be undefeatable, that nobody can address you, that nobody can talk to you, that nobody can offer a piece of advice to you, despite your age, despite your occupation, how much money you make, your knowledge. Because it's some of the ulama, or some of, should I say, the people of knowledge are guilty of this as well. I speak fluent Arabic, I've memorized Quran in 5 different recitations. I know Sahih Bukhari front to back. You're going to stand in front of me and tell me XYZ I'm doing is wrong? What did the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ say about having arrogance in the heart? لا يدخل الجنة من كان في قلبه مثقال ذرة في كبر. After the khutbah, go on Google and search a mustard seed and see how small it is. If you have a mustard seed's amount of arrogance in your heart, you will not enter Jannah. When I heard this made me very scared. Because on a daily basis, we engage in arrogance in so many different ways. And the possibility of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taking away your soul at any minute is very possible. This is why at all times, what I like to do is assess my environment and understand that anything can go wrong. Nothing is perfect. Nobody is perfect. Anything can go wrong. I get an A+ in the class. I don't think I'm knowledgeable in that class yet. Give me a PhD in a subject, there's a few things I don't know. Because the moment you start to feel like, yes, I know, this is enough, I don't need to add more, arrogance, pride. Now we mentioned the Muslim youth. Why am I mentioning all of this? What does this have to do with the Muslim youth? In my communication with a lot of the young Muslims, one of the things that is pushing them away from Islam is them harboring things in their heart that they cannot give to other people or share with other people. And the number one people they should be sharing these things with are their parents. Either their parents or their teachers in the masjid. but most importantly, the parents. Sometimes I like to, engage the youth in questions, see where their mind is at. We did this actually right here a few weeks ago. When I go to speak to the youth, a lot of them, they see, oh, another guy is gonna come and give us a lecture, oh, astaghfirullah, you have to be good, the children have to respect their parents. We heard this a million times already. The first thing I did when I sat down with the kids, I asked them, tell me, what do you see is wrong with the community? I want to see it from your perspective. Because you'll be surprised. These 8, 10, 12-year-olds, they are watching. And they see what is going on. And you'll be surprised at what they are seeing. I once had a 10-year-old tell me, I saw my father say Salamu Alaikum to a certain amount of people, and when he reached so and so, he skipped them. And so is from this country. And when we go home, I heard my father talk bad about the same country. Therefore, you see them, you're making the connections now. 1 + 1 is equals 2. If my dad did this, plus he speaks about this in the house, therefore he doesn't like these people. But I have a friend at school who's from the same country. Now where do I stand? I heard a guy in a lecture say that we must respect and tolerate all people. I don't see my dad doing that. Now where do I stand? All of these things, we are grown. We will say that, oh, this is just a fault of the Muslim. This is just my fault. I need to, take care of this. From the children's point of view, the parents are a good representation of what Islam is. If you're telling me you don't like so and so people, then you're telling me Islam does not allow me to like so and so people. And so people are the same people I am friends with at school. Then they distance themselves from Islam. This is one of the many ways our arrogance, our pride is preventing us from reaching the Muslim youth. I have young Muslims, especially the young girls. I've heard this way too many times. And again, I said this the last time I was here, if I am not here to speak the truth, then I do not deserve to be standing here. And alhamdulillah, as a person who is still affiliated with the Muslim youth, I would like to describe myself as young. There are certain things that is going on that I would like to bring to your awareness, so that the parents or the people in charge of the young people will be aware of what's going on. What you see in the streets, that's only half of the picture. But through conversation and social media and from heart to heart, there's a lot more going on. I have a lot of young girls telling me that my mother, my father, they don't listen. I asked them, what's bothering you? I'm feeling depressed. I just haven't been feeling myself lately, X, Y, and Z. Have you told your parents? Tell my parents. They would never listen. When I tell my parents, the first thing they're telling me, oh, it's because of the phone. It's because you don't pray. It's because you don't read Quran. What is happening here is that we are listening to respond. We are not listening to understand. I'm not saying we just let the Muslim youth feel however, and whatever they say, oh, you're right. That is not the case. But we need to first take it, put ourselves in their shoes, and then we find a way to address the problem. So a lot of the Muslim youth feel that the parents are up here, and they're so high. When you're standing on top of a building, for those of us who have visited the tall buildings in Manhattan, when you're standing on the top of a building, when you look down, you can't see specific details. You can't see people's faces and recognize them. You only just see dots. You see tiny things walking. That is how the children see the parents in terms of how they see them. Then my parents put themselves so high that they can't recognize me. They can't see what I'm going through. So even if I tell them, They're not going to understand. And nobody likes to be judged. So inshallah, let us find ways. And it is not an easy thing. And I've spoken about this a while ago. We are now experiencing a change of environments. As I look at all the faces sitting here, I'm pretty sure maybe 90% of the people sitting here right now was not born in this country. Meaning most of us migrated here. Most of us probably migrated even from Muslim-centered communities. Countries or cities or at least communities where Islam is everywhere. Islam is dominant. I'm pretty sure most of us grew up in environments where when the masjid is making adhan, everybody hears it in their house. If you now find yourself in an environment where the closest of adhan you can hear is the notification from your phone, then that means there's a change of game, change of plans. The way we used to raise children back home or back in these Islamic-centered environments, we need to change the way we raise children here. It's not going to work. If you're still trying to apply the same, because alhamdulillah, I say this almost every week, I got the chance to go back to Africa and study and live in that environment. There are certain things you don't go up to an adult and tell them, because they are going through the same thing. So what you do, you follow directions and you're going to be good. But now, there is a distance or there is a difference in struggle. If I ask most of us right now, what is some of the problems you have dealing with? You know, you have some deadlines, some bills, people depending on you. Your struggles are different. If I ask a young boy right now, what is his main problem? You know, my headphones is broken. Now I have to listen to things on speaker. And it might sound silly, but to a young person whose life is revolving around technology, this is a huge issue. I remember when I was in high school, I was late for school. I'm on my way halfway to school. It takes me an hour to get to school. 30 minutes in, I realized I left my headphones at home. I had to go back and get them. I had to. Because for the most part, I'm always listening to something. I'm blocking people out. I just want to be in my own space. I had to go back home and get my headphones. So if this is how the Muslim youth are thinking, then we're going to need a different approach to really understand how they feel. And the number one way we can do this is just by listening. When I say listening, I don't mean, oh, you know, mashallah, how are you doing? They say what they're doing. Okay, listen. No, just let them talk. Let them talk and talk and talk until they have nothing else to say. Sometimes even, you know, we have to be psychologists, you know. Look at how the Prophet Muhammad sometimes would deal with people. When people came to the Prophet to complain of problems, even though they would be already, like, let's say two people are fighting, and one person is giving their side of the story, even though they had their fault, the Prophet would let them finish. The Prophet would not go, oh, hold on. First of all, you should not have been, no. He would let them finish their whole story. Why? So this person can feel like they have spoken their truth. The moment you cut them off, you're cutting off my truth. And if you're gonna cut off my truth, I cannot trust you to give you my truth. Unfortunately, there are other people who are doing this to the Muslim youth, and they are receiving them and guiding them down the wrong hill. Sometimes I say this, it is amazing. A rapper, we live in New York City, a person who is a rapper, all the way in California, is able to receive the Muslim youth in New York City and make them feel better about themselves, and the parents that they sleep with in the same household has no idea. I am sad. I have two options. I can go to my parents and seek counsel and seek advice and see if they'll make me feel better, or I can just go on YouTube and search this guy's name and, you know, bump my head to some music. And unfortunately, they're always taking the left side. We need to lower our pride. And it's not going to be easy. We went from an environment where the children have to, when I was in Ghana, you don't just show up to an adult and start speaking. You enter the room. You greet everyone in the room. You lower your gaze. Sometimes you might even have to squat a little, because if your elder is sitting down and you standing up, you are asking the elder to break their neck and look at you. That is disrespectful. You have to kneel down or sit down and then speak to the elder. You use please. Some words, you don't mention it when you're speaking to the elders. All of these things were behaviors that was taught back home. They live in a different environment now. We're going to have to sacrifice some of these things now. If we get them since they were young, we teach it to them, fine. But since they did not grow up in this with this type of culture or this type of knowledge, then we just sacrifice a little. They might be disrespectful in their tone. Just let it slide, just a little bit. The moment you let those things slide and you start to receive them, they themselves will start to become shy. They themselves will start to learn, you know what, this is my father. You know what, this is my mother. Let me watch how I speak to them. I used to have this one student in the masjid. You know, one of those students that come from a house of money. You know what I mean? So all the kids in the masjid, they like this student. He's popular. So everybody, you know, treats him nice. He starts to feel like he's something. This student was eating while we were all learning. I'm asking the student to stop eating. The student had the audacity to stand up and tell me, what you mean I'm gotta stop eating? I see you drinking coffee sometimes. If you eating, I'm gonna eat. Giving me attitude and this and this. Everybody was shocked. Everybody's looking at me. Some of the kids started saying, you know, you dead. He's gonna take care of you, dead. I went up to the student and then I smiled. I said, if you're hungry, you can go near the staircase, finish your food and come back. And when I was coming to him, he was ready, and all of us were young at one point. You know that moment when somebody is coming to come and violate you, so you start to prepare your defense. You start to prepare your insults in your head. We've all had these moments before when we were young. I could see it in his eyes. He was preparing he was looking at me up and down. Okay, I'm gonna insult his hair. He doesn't have a hairline. I'm gonna insult his clothes. Fake iPhone 6, you don't even have iPhone 10. He was already analyzing me to see how he was gonna disrespect me once I make him feel embarrassed. I was making sure I don't embarrass him in front of everybody. And ever since then, if I tell this boy to jump, he's gonna jump. Why? Because I earned his trust. He trusted that every time I engage with him, my intention is not to embarrass him, but to make him be in a better place. And this is the bottom line of everything I just said. The Muslim youth feel like their intentions now is to embarrass them, is to make them feel bad, is to make them feel like failures. You're 20-something, you're 18, you're 16, you don't even reach surah this, you don't even pray, you don't this, you don't that. The negative has been piling up on their minds. We need to start giving them a little bit more positive. We need to start letting them have their moments. And slowly, inshallah, once we gain their trust, we will be able to connect with them better. And then we cannot do this if we do not exhibit a lack of arrogance. May Allah Ta'ala make us among those who are not arrogant. May Allah Ta'ala make us among those who are humble. And knowledge is very important. Knowledge is one of those things that helps you become a better person in terms of arrogance. Because the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. This is one of the benefits of attaining a higher education. Once you get to university level of studying, you start to realize, oh wow, there's some really knowledgeable people out there. That once back in your school you was getting 100% on every test, it's a different situation out here. And it really humbles you. I remember when I first went to Africa to go study, I was, that kid from America. Oh, he's from America. Everybody used to come to me, hey, American man. And it used to make me feel like I was something. To the point where, we lived with our sheikh, and may Allah bless him and increase him in knowledge. He was a very fair person. I remember one of the first things I learned from him in terms of etiquette is that the first 3 days a person is in your house, you treat them like a guest. After that, you treat them like family. So the first 3 days, I was enjoying. Then after that, when they're sharing the tea and the bread in the morning, and one of the pieces of the bread was bigger than the rest, automatically I said, that's my bread, nobody's gonna touch it. And then some other kid took it, and I said, how dare you, that's my bread. You already know that's my bread. The kid said, why this gotta be your bread? I said, what, I'm the American kid, you know that's my bread. Subhanallah, my ustaz heard this, he didn't say anything. Later on, we were going to the masjid to go learn, and the masjid was about, a few miles away from where we stay. And he would sometimes give us money to take what is the equivalent of a bus, basically, to go to the masjid. That day, he didn't give me money. I said, Ustaz, I didn't get my money. He said, you say you're American, right? Recently, the Americans won the Olympics for running. And I believe you American, you got some of that American in you. Let's see you, I want to see you run all the way to the masjid. I laughed, I thought he was joking. That day, I walked almost 3 miles to go to the masjid and study. Ever since then, I always put in my mind, I am nobody. I am better than nobody, no matter where I'm from or no matter where I'm going. So arrogance is something that all of us do without even realizing. Because Allah has blessed us in so many ways. We see somebody in a wheelchair, automatically, in a wheelchair. Somebody has pain in their leg and you walking fine. So, look at it. Somebody's begging you for money or something. Look at this miskin. But if you study the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions and the people around them, some of the most the most pious stories that brings tears to your eyes were coming from just poor people and the actions they did. Anytime I see somebody in a situation that they are in an unfortunate situation, they don't have money, they can't walk or whatever, immediately I think to myself, the relationship between this person and Allah must be amazing. Because me, I wake up, I can walk. So things are a bit easier for me. If the person can't walk, they have an extra reason to make dua to Allah. I wake up, I got food in the fridge, I don't even know what to eat. Somebody that wakes up, they don't know what to eat, they have another reason to make dua to Allah. The more unfortunate a person is, the more reason they have to make dua to Allah, the better the connection between Allah. That is how I process it. So to summarize, arrogance, pride, we've heard about it many times. And it is one of those things that we do without even realizing. We have it in our hearts and we don't even know. This is why this is one of my favorite quotes. Just because you are not sick does not mean you are healthy. Just because people don't complain about you, oh, this man, he's arrogant, astaghfirullah, you need to really behave yourself, nobody is addressing you, does not mean that everything is okay. There may still be little things that you do. And these may be little to you, but in the eyes of Allah may be even heavier on the scale. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who are humble. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us recognize that we are nothing, absolutely nothing but His servants. And that we are needy as human beings and we cannot do anything without the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Alhamdulillah, 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 wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala ahlihi wa sahbihi. Alhamdulillah, today we talked about arrogance and pride and having an inflated ego. We talked about how this arrogance does not only mean that you see yourself to be better than other people to the point where everybody is tired, where everybody is trying to advise you. But sometimes we might exhibit this behavior in the smallest ways. And as Muslims, it is important that we let go of all of it. Today we talked about how this pride is preventing the Muslim youth to be able to reach their parents. This pride, again, no, I don't think there is ever going to be any parent who intentionally looks at their children and say, I am better than you. You better not talk to me. Don't tell me anything. But rather, you do it indirectly or on without your awareness. And that's how they perceive it. And again, sometimes we speak about the Muslim youth, and it might seem like I'm always attacking the parents, but the Muslim youth have their issues as well that they need to address. But inshallah, together we will continue to address them. And the parents are not perfect as well. Anytime I get a chance to speak to the Muslim youth, I try to help them understand this. Mommy and daddy, sometimes they might be difficult to communicate with them, but I need you to understand. Growing up in an environment where you had almost nothing, sometimes I hear stories from some of our elders. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of you. The elders in our community, may Allah bless you and continue to bless you and grant you the highest level of Jannah. The stuff that they went through. Some of us sitting here had war going on in their countries, and they had to escape that and come here. That does not leave behind a healthy mind. Some of us, their parents died when they was young. They had to take care of 6, 7, 8, 10 brothers and sisters from a young age. And this is not America where you're getting food stamps. No, we talking about in a very ghetto situation. Having to wake up early in the morning and go fetch water to feed the whole family. If you go through this years and years and you have discrimination, you come to this country, you're facing racism, discrimination, Islamophobia, the pressure of raising Muslim youth to become good, the pressure of bringing home enough money to pay the bills and take care of the family, all of these things, this is a lot. This is a lot for just one mind, only one mind. Is each kid healthy? If anything happens at any time, I have to go take them to the emergency room. Anyone can get sick. You have a whole wife. You have to treat her. You have to take care of her. Everything. And the mothers too, they take care of the kids. They breastfeed them. All of these things. Pregnancy itself is a whole nother journey. So the mothers and fathers, alhamdulillah, I am not a father or a mother, but I can see at least that it is not easy. May Allah Ta'ala make it easy for all of you. May Allah bless you for your patience. And this is something that I like to use to give hope to the parents. Some of the things you guys have went through, somebody went through half of it and said, you know what, forget God. Forget religion, I am tired of it. I cannot believe that a God will put me through all of this, and I'm asking for money, and I'm asking for success, and I'm still not getting it, and you tell me I'm supposed to respect and believe in this God? Forget religion, forget God, I'm gonna do what I want. Each and every single one of us here has an excuse to do that. But yet here you are sitting here, sacrificing your time for the sake of Allah. And I promise you, Allah will not forget that. Allah will not take that. Allah will take this into consideration. And I beg and beg the parents to continue to hold on to their faith. As you hold on and the children see it, then they will also find a reason to hold on. After all the things my dad is doing, he doesn't sleep until he prays 2 rakah. Then if I see this, it's gonna make me, maybe I should start praying 2 rakah as well. Or at least I know the importance of it. I come home from school, I'm trying to sleep. My school is nothing compared to my dad's work. Yeah, after work he has to pray. He always telling me, go bring me the mat. I need to pray before I sleep. Man, there must be something in that prayer. And I've had stories from some of the students who come and tell me. You'd be surprised. These kids are paying attention. I had a student tell me there was this class. He's in high school, he takes physics. Elective physics. Physics is a very difficult subject. He said he reached towards the end of the semester, he studied, he did all the homework, a lot of the stuff, he still don't understand it. And if he doesn't pass this class, it's gonna mess up his report card. He's trying to get into a good school. He said, I was in the moment, I didn't know what to do. And then I remembered. I once asked my father, why are you always praying before you go to sleep? My father said, I pray in times of difficulty. I'm in a time of difficulty. Let me pray 2 rakat before I go to sleep. The student, he prayed 2 rakat before the night before the exam. He went and took the test and he got a high mark. He came and told me, I can't believe the work. It works. So all this time, the praying stuff you guys been telling us about, it works. I said, yes, it works. But you have to make sure you don't stop. We don't use Allah as a crutch, and then once we get better, you throw it away. Now that you got the high marks, continue to pray the 2 rakat for Allah to continue to maintain the high marks. And then that is the way, slowly but surely, we're going to start to convince the Muslim youth to become better. And then again, we cannot do all of this if we still have what in the heart? Arrogance. May Allah save us all from arrogance. May Allah continue to bless and develop the Muslim youth. May Allah bless our fathers in the community. May Allah bless our mothers in the community. May Allah have mercy on the people whom we have lost. And speaking of, sacrifice, the masjid's monthly contribution, inshallah, let us try our best to donate to the masjids. I say this, I've been starting to study about space, the correlation between having a space and the development of a community. If a community wants to develop, they need to have their own space. And we are blessed that we have this space for ourselves. Let us continue to take care of this space, because it is a blessing from Allah. ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. Allah will ask each and one of us about this ni'mah that He gave us, this masjid. Please, those of us whose names are on the list for the monthly contributions, whatever you can give, continue to give. Allah knows best. And if your name is not on the list, it is never too late. Maybe you're not a regular attendee of this masjid, no problem, fi sabilillah, you give what you can. Together we can contribute and help develop our place. And if we develop this place well enough, we might leave it in a good condition for the Muslim youth to come and take over when we are gone. We ask that Allah Ta'ala increase us all and continue to increase us. We ask that Allah Ta'ala forgive us. We ask that Allah Ta'ala make things easy for us. Like I said before, each and every single one of us have some type of issue in your heart. Some type of issue deep down that nobody else knows about. Not your children, not your wife, not your husband, not your parents, people who are with you, nobody. Just one of those painful things that anytime somebody's talking to you, look at them and say, you don't have no idea what I'm going through. Each and every single one of us have one of these problems in our heart. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the power of kun fayakun, may He deal with these problems for us. May He make us feel better in this life and the hereafter. We ask Allah ta'ala forgive the people whom we have lost. Ramadan is getting closer and closer. We prayed Ramadan with some people and they're not with us today. May Allah allow us to see Ramadan. And those who are not lucky enough to see Ramadan, well, let me not say lucky, those who Allah Ta'ala took their souls before Ramadan got here, may Allah Ta'ala have mercy on their souls and make their grave a place of comfort and not a place of punishment. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. And also the Muslims who are suffering around the world in all these different countries and whatever is going on, may Allah Ta'ala grant them victory and grant them success, and allow all of the pain that they are going through be turned into blessings for them on the day of judgment. And may Allah allow all the pain that we are going through be turned into blessings on the day of judgment. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وادخلنا الجنة على الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. اللهم صل على نبينا محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. أقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح، قد قامت الصلاة، قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله.
Still acting with us. If your cell phones are on, please turn them off and put them on silent. And make space for the brothers coming in the back. Jazakumullah khair stuff. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون. لا يستوي أصحاب النار وأصحاب الجنة أصحاب الجنة هم الفائزون. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
في سبيل الله 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 في سبيل
Peace be with brothers and sisters. Peace be with. Don't forget to masjid, inshallah. Peace be with. Also, don't forget whoever your name is in the list of masjid membership. Please come forward and finish your debt, inshallah. Don't forget to come and register also if you want to register to join the members, inshallah. You are free to come. Don't forget to come and clear your debts. Some people, they have so many debts back. So come and finish it. You're not doing for nobody but for yourself, inshallah. Make it, make Allah make it easy for you to come forward and pay it, inshallah. Come forward and pay your debts. Come and clear your name, brothers and sisters, inshallah. Don't forget your masjid. Fisabilillah. Also, you have the bread. Take bread home. Brother Kamara is back there to help you. Inshallah, there's a shopping bag. You can take as much you want. Take bread home, inshallah. Fisabilillah, brothers. Fisabilillah.
Thank you very much. Peace abilillah. Peace abilillah. Peace abilillah. Peace abilillah. Peace abilillah. Fisabilillah. 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 Thank you, Fisabilillah. Okay, I like it. Fisabilillah. Fisabilillah. Fisabilillah.
How to get to the man who prays.
It might be small if you don't come. You need to
Oh, I know. I do not understand. I do not understand. Yes, I do. Because